right. I think we're going to get started if Andrew is ready.
Absolutely ready.
Wonderful. Okay, hello and welcome. This is our very first session of the Platform Foundation Academy. We're starting this to start engaging with our customers and partners about anything that is platform or core platform technology. You may have already seen some of the other academies that we're offering about PAR or Virtual Agent Academy, and this is a new one in the series. We want to cover topics like ATF, source control, CICD, and many more. And to kick off this series, we have our wonderful Andrew Barnes, who will be presenting some of the latest features that we've had in the latest release, that is Quebec. And be sure we're going to be covering Rome features in one of our future sessions, but I will let me just quickly give you an outline of what the Academy format does and what makes it a little more different from other formats that you may have seen. So the Academy format will give you the best sides of an office hours combined with actual presentations or maybe even some small demos in the future. So the first part that Andrew will present will be an overview, a small presentation, and we're going through a specific topic, and then we'll open up the floor to questions. So feel free to start typing in the questions that you have in the Q&A panel, and we'll then start answering them after Andrew has done his presentation. I am so happy that you're here, and I give my word over to Andrew.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. I will go ahead and start the screen share here of this little PowerPoint and get us rolling. So as Lisa said, this is our very first episode of the Platform Foundation Academy. And our last slide will have the details for the next one, but it will be at Thursday, July 22nd will be our second one. And I believe that one will be Daniel going over some good practices for ATF. But let's get into our topic for today, which is Quebec. What's in it for me? Some of you may have already gone to Quebec, and some of you may have seen other Quebec presentations. So I tried to weave in some of the Platform Foundation topics into this presentation today that are a little less loud and obvious. I will touch on some of the larger ones, but I wanted to touch on some potentially overlooked things that are in Quebec. As Lisa said, I'm Andrew Barnes. I'm a senior staff platform outbound product manager. And this is a fairly new role for me, joining into the outbound product management team. And Lisa, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
All right. My name is Lisa Hohenstein. I am an outbound product manager for the platform. I've been in this role for about 1.5 years now. I'm located in Germany and have been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for about 5 years.
Oh, fantastic. And if you've never met me, I have been in our ecosystem for a little over 7 years. I've been at a couple of customers as a platform owner and enterprise architect, an implementation partner. And prior to joining the outbound team here at ServiceNow, which I've been at for coming up on 3 years, I was in our developer program, championing for developers. So let's get into Quebec. Our agenda for today is, well, let's start with the safe harbor. I don't believe that we are going to touch on any future statements here, but in case we do, please make sure that you don't make any purchasing, dollar-based decisions off of anything that we say, because we may be talking about something that is forward-looking. It's where we hope to go to, but we're not promising that we will, that will be exactly is. So we've handled our introductions and we're going to get right into Quebec. So let's jump right in. So one pretty cool feature in Paris was universal request. And then, but with Quebec, it has been enhanced. And I'm pretty excited to talk about universal request because it solves a problem that I have experienced previously. When working at a customer of ServiceNow, you have multiple teams and organizations using ServiceNow at many of our customers. And those organizations are using different aspects and parts of our platform. And universal request really helps flatten the differences between those different areas. So you could have some folks working in incident, you could have customer service management, it could be HR, it could be a request. So there's lots of different work streams that could be happening for a customer's intake. And switching between those record types is a pain point for your agents. What universal request tries to do is ease some of that pain between transitioning from, say, an HR case to an incident because it was misrouted. It wasn't really an HR case. And this customer's request really needs to be handled in the incident table. And so what universal request allows that agent to do is they can translate that ticket from an HR case into an incident. And it's a very simple modal dialogue that you can see here on the screen for the agent to perform this action. So they're going to, transfer this from HR case to incident, and they set a couple of pieces of information, which department, the service, why they're transferring this, and then that record gets transformed into the target system's record. And the HR agent didn't need to know details about how to translate that into an incident. So this is really powerful and allows for that SLA to cross the boundaries of departments, right? Because they're tied together with this universal request, you can set SLAs at the universal request level, which transcend the individual HR case or incident record. So lots of cool stuff there. One of the enhancements in Paris or in Quebec is the properties that you can set for universal requests. So you can control the type of transfers the agents can do. So there's some very handy properties there that allow you to limit to say what level of granularity you can switch to, and if you can switch something outside of your department or not. So you may want your HR agents to be able to just transfer it to the topmost level in a different department, or drill down to the actual services. So those properties are really useful. So along the way of talking about how agents are fulfilling interactions with customers, you ask for something, you're handling a request of some form. So what I'm showing here is a picture from a workspace. And in that workspace, we have a contextual sidebar. And in that sidebar, one of the new options is what the next best action is. And to handle the next best action is something called guided decisions. Again, this is a feature that I believe was introduced in Paris, but really has gotten some great enhancements that make it something that I want to pursue in Quebec. And one of the most important one of those, and I've got a little picture of it in the bottom right here, is that previously the guided decisions in its first release was limited to a single guided decision tree at a time. So you had to have the whole package together of concept of what you needed all in the same decision tree. What is enhanced in Quebec is that you can link decision trees with other decision trees, which is a really powerful tool. So previously you had to end on a guidance node, but now you can continue to leverage moving from one decision tree to another decision tree, and that allows you to make these modular and interact with each other in powerful ways, without having to have that big entire picture up front. With another enhancement with guided decisions in Quebec is that you can perform conditionals after the guidance nodes have completed, and continue on in case of, for example, if you were running, if the guided decision tree told you to perform some action, like inspect their computer remotely. And if that fails, then you might need to execute a different guided decision tree. And so that's one of the capabilities that Quebec has added to this.
Hey, Andrew.
Guided decision. Oh, yes.
I think there could be a question around guided decisions for our customers. They may have seen that guided decisions are currently located in the CSM part of our docs. Does this impact their option to use it if they're not a CSM customer?
So my understanding is that guided decisions was created by the CSM area, which is why it's located in that area of the docs, but it should be available for general platform use.
That is awesome.
Along that vein, it was tied to a playbook previously in Quebec, and that has been separated in Quebec. You no longer have to tie a guided decision tree to a given playbook. You can instead, as I have in the image here, it can be in the contextual sidebar conditionally. So I don't need to know that a given record is going to interact with this guided decision in my playbook. You can still have them in playbooks, but now it can be separated out and just be conditionally based, which opens up lots of opportunity for using and leveraging these guided decisions to help agents solve problems faster. So along that vein of workspaces and agents is you got our first deliverable configurable workspace in Quebec. So the Quebec workspace for CSM is a configurable workspace, which is really quite exciting. I have long wanted workspaces to be fully configurable, and now they're starting to be fully configurable with the addition of configurable workspaces in Quebec. You've likely seen some information about UI Builder already in this release. If you've seen any of our Quebec release information, you've probably seen something about UI Builder, but I think it was worth a mention that configurable workspaces are able to be configured through UI Builder and is really going to enhance your ability to deliver those great experiences for your agents through customizing and configuring the workspaces to be the way that your agents will most optimally be able to work. So I'm really excited about that feature, which is enabled by UI Builder. UI Builder is our new interface builder. It was available prior to Quebec, but in a very limited fashion. The Quebec version is what I would consider our first real release of UI Builder. And I look forward to talking to that more in the future. There's a lot of depth with UI Builder, and you've probably heard some things about it already, but I couldn't talk about the configurable workspace without mentioning UI Builder. There's tons to explore there. My good coworker, Brad Tilton, has done lots of information about UI Builder and will continue to do so into the future. But that what you see, what you get kind of UI interface builder is really exciting to see and deliver power for you. One thing near and dear to my heart as a platform owner previously is, managing, moving to a new version of ServiceNow. And so while we're talking about a new version of ServiceNow Quebec, how could I not mention some cool features about how you upgrade in the upgrade conversation itself. So Upgrade Center is quite a bit more powerful nowadays. The reason that I want to mention Upgrade Center is because handling upgrades can be challenging for some organizations. And the purpose of Upgrade Center is really to help make upgrades faster and easier. So some of the things that are added in Quebec for making future upgrades easier. So you have to be on Quebec in order to take advantage of these things in the Upgrade Center for your next upgrade. But once you get in there and see what you can do with the Upgrade Center, I think you will be pleased with the power that it gives you, which is some of the things you can do or preview what a future version is going to look like. So as soon as you move to Quebec and you can leverage the Upgrade Center, you can start using the Upgrade Center even for your Quebec patches. And you can preview what that patch is going to look like. So it's going to pretend to do an upgrade without actually doing an upgrade and predict what the outcomes of that upgrade will be. Which is hugely powerful from a time estimation of what work needs to be done in order to accomplish the upgrade. That's going to be a huge time saver. And it really centralizes all that information about the upgrade all into one place for you. So how long the previous upgrades took, it predicts how long the next upgrade is going to take based off of which upgrade you're choosing. It brings in all of those skipped entries all together to be reviewed in one place, the performance of the upgrade. It's really centralizing a lot of data from a lot of places in the platform all together to help you manage upgrades better. When you're talking about, the customizations you've made in ServiceNow, one thing that has been added in Quebec, and this is where I will likely talk a little bit about a future thing, is app customizations. So if you're in Studio, one of the things that has been enhanced with Quebec is the ability to customize a store application. So along the top bar there, we've zoomed in a little bit here and shown you that there's a new option to create a store app customization. And what that's going to do is create a customized version of a given store app, which you can see here on this screen. Is you'll actually have two version numbers. You'll have the stores provided version number, and then you'll have your version number. And this allows you to work on that store app in Studio, which you previously couldn't do. One of the forward-looking statements will be that handles the store apps. The next step along this progression is handling plugins. So that's going to be coming in a future release, most likely very, very soon, which should cover all of the different application types should be covered then with that enhancement that's coming to a future near you, so that you can manage all of your development work as a developer in ServiceNow, all in Studio. One of the enhancements that you get along the way with being able to do that store app customization and the ServiceNow provided scope customizations and plugin customizations, along with your existing applications and the global app bundles that are possible, is you can take advantage of CICD capabilities that there weren't lots of new features in that in Quebec, but as we're opening up these other areas for leveraging in Studio and source control and the app repo, that allows you to move away from update sets and move towards using centralized source control, automated testing. And then what I have on the screen here is the scanning system. So the instance scan is another automated tool in the platform now as of Quebec, which you can run scans against your instance or applications or update sets. You can run these automatically based off conditions. So you can set up things like, when I close an update set, it automatically runs a scan for me and tells the developer right then the results of that scan, even without even having to move it to another instance. And you get to configure what those scanning definitions are. So there's some that are shipped out of the box, but you as an organization get to define what is important to you and which practices you want to scan for. So there are a couple of great in-depth things talking about instant scan, but the idea behind it is to measure things on the platform, be it code or app performance, coding standards. There's lots of opportunity with instant scan to automate the inspection of applications and performance on the ServiceNow platform, so that you can pinpoint areas of improvement early in the development process. And then you've probably already heard of App Engine Studio, but when I was thinking about talking about the CI/CD capabilities, one of the things that popped in my mind is managing low code delivery at scale. And with App Engine Studio, which is our new interface for low code developers to work in the platform, one of the things that's baked into this is using those CI/CD capabilities to help those citizen type developers, those low code developers, get their work deployed up through the pipeline. And that's automated as part of App Engine Studio and can be scaled to things that aren't in App Engine Studio, which is why I wanted to mention it here. So as you move forward with the maturity in your organization, you can look at leveraging the same type of capability that's built into App Engine Studio for automated deployments up your pipeline with things not in App Engine Studio. And
I have another addition to that. The instance scan that you've seen before can also be added to the queue, to the pipeline, publishing pipeline within App Engine Studio. So whenever, for example, your citizen developer wants to publish his version of the application that he wrote, you can run the same instance scans that you've been creating for your regular developers before.
That's an excellent point, Lisa. Yes. Thank you for bringing that in. Absolutely. The out-of-the-box provided pipeline for App Engine Studio is just that. It's the out-of-the-box provided, but you can enhance it exactly as Lisa said to run automated tests, to run instance scan as part of that pipeline. Absolutely, you can do. And talking about ATF, our upcoming episodes, episode 2 and 3 are coming up 2 weeks and 4 weeks from now. I hope you have enjoyed this little presentation. And now we get to the really fun part, which is questions and answer session.
Before we do that, I would love to have you answer a couple of questions on the Quebec release and specifically on how you're currently working with your processes. How are you doing your releases? How often do you do your releases? Which release are you on currently? And so on. So let us know. The poll should be showing up for you just now. And we're super interested in where you're currently at and how many of the tools, some of the tools that Andrew just described to us, you're already using or are planning to use.
I love polls.
Yes,
Yay.
polls are awesome.
Please answer the questions. Ooh, which release is your production instance currently at? That's a good question. Ooh, we got some Orlando coming in. We've already got some Paris or some Quebec users, which is great.
That is awesome. Then you get to use the new features.
How often do you upgrade your instance? That's a good question. I know the answer, but it's a really good question. I love your area behind your desk, Lisa. It looks great.
Thank you. I can even choose the colors if I want to.
That is just so fancy. So while we're doing the poll, we got a couple of questions answered, and
yes.
I want to look at them because I didn't get to look at them.
Yes. While you do that, I want to highlight that you can also please raise your hands if you want to ask your questions out loud, and then I can give you permissions to speak. So don't be afraid of us. We're not biting most of the time.
Yep. Lisa told me I was not allowed to bite anyone today on this call. I can bite people later. So the Thomas asked about the transfer ticket window.
For the universal request.
Yeah.
That is an excellent question. And it combines some of our topics today.
It does. And I believe that you answered it quite well, which is if it is a glide modal, then yes, a Quebec enhancement to ATF added the capability to interact with those glide modals. Yes. So, and I suspect it is a glide modal window.
I haven't tested it.
I haven't tested it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but if it is, then you should be able to do it now.
And otherwise, then it would need to be the custom UI
yes.
Test.
And in that case, if it is a custom UI, you should be able to explore it with the page inspector.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Awesome.
The other
Are we ready
question,
to close out the poll?
Yes, I think so. It's been 3 minutes and most of the people have answered.
Awesome.
All right. We'll just open this. So whoever wants to see it can check the results. And we'll continue with Casey's question. Casey asked, will guided decisions only tie into Agent Workspace, or is there any possibility to do that in legacy platform or service portal? So here's what I found. I haven't found an option to do that. However, in one of our documents, and this is with no confirmation at all, I'll have to check it out further, but I've seen that there's supposed to be an API for guided decisions. I couldn't find it so far. Maybe it's still on the roadmap, but if there's an API to call the guided decision, then you should be able to call it from other workflows as well. But I will find that out for you.
Yeah, and so I doubt that there'll be much capability to pull it into the legacy platform unless it's through API, because the interface itself is definitely a now experience component. And so the visual interaction with it is going to be limited to places where you can surface now experience components. So let's go through our poll. You're able to look at them, which is great. We've got fairly good balance between Paris and Quebec for where you're currently at. What was that? 50% and 40%?
Yes.
50% Paris, 40% Quebec, and then other Orlando and or older. And then how often do you upgrade your instance? Oh, wow. That's a great response there, which is 81%.
That makes me very happy to see. That makes me very happy to see, because we have invested a lot of effort in the past years to help our customers speed up their upgrades, and seeing that most, I'd say the majority, are up to 4 weeks for the upgrade process. That is a good number as well. So we're trying to help you shorten those upgrade periods and make you more current, I guess. So it seems like it's working, at least for the people who are here.
Yeah, 70% is 4 weeks or less, which is great.
That is amazing, yes. And most of you have heard of the Upgrade Center. Now, I would love to know if you've heard of it before Andrew told you about it just now.
Yeah, phrasing of questions.
2 people did not listen to him at that point.
And then ATF, have you looked at our instant speed? Oh, look at that. So have used ATF, but not instant scan, which is, since many of you aren't on Quebec yet, then that is makes sense, right? Not lots of users of instant scan yet, but hopefully that is a feature that is a little bit exciting to you. There's lots of power there hidden in instant scan, and it's not just about inspecting code.
Yes.
So let's get to questions. Raise your hands.
More questions.
Come on to audio. What would you like to talk about that's, core platform ServiceNow stuff? So don't ask us questions about how you should handle your incident management better. Because while I have opinions, it's not what we're here to talk about today.
All right, Tapas is writing, does the instant scan also help in quantifying the code coverage for the ATF test cases? Wow.
So no, it's not. So instant scan, it doesn't interact directly with ATF. So they are 2 tools that can be used for some types of similar things. So you can use instant scanning to sort of test some things, and they should be used in concert. Is ATF is there to be testing, outcomes, and is the process working, and are my forms the right way? And instant scan is more about, can I inspect parts of the platform against some guidelines that I have defined. And so those are different scenarios.
So
and
maybe an example would be good. One of the things that you could see is using, like, whenever you one of your admins or whoever, or one of the users creates a homepage, instant scan could help you uncover that and make sure that you're using dashboards or maybe more modern reporting versions. Or whenever you're creating, for example, an after update business rule, you might as well use a flow for that. So instant scan can help you uncover that. Or maybe you have some guidelines set up on where you want your developers and admins to configure whether fields are mandatory, be that on the client side or on the server side. And instant scan can help you mandate those guidelines that you set for your developers. So those are, I think, some of the options or scenarios for which you can use instance scan, for example.
Yeah, and I would be, so I've heard other folks ask about, do I have code coverage for ATF? And my thoughts on that is, do I care? So there's lots of code in ServiceNow. There's lots of code that I've written in ServiceNow. Do I want full coverage for all the code in ServiceNow that we're not using? No. I want coverage for things that we're using. So I build my test cases to test the things that I'm using and performing and care about. And I don't use it to inspect areas that I'm not utilizing. So if I have code that's not being used, do I need to test it? Probably not, because I'm not using it.
All right, there's another question in the chat, and Michael is asking if we're actively accessing and reviewing the ideas portal. So not me personally, but we as a team, yes. There are different teams involved. There are mechanisms in place that look at idea thresholds. Those are different per topic too. So upvote those issues that are near and dear to your heart. The more upvotes they get, the more likely they are to cross the threshold and make sure that they get into the queues for development or at least evaluation.
So our product managers, that was an excellent answer, Lisa. Our product managers absolutely use the idea portal to help them with their road mapping. That's one of their input points, is reviewing the idea portal, deciding whether or not they are going to add that item to their backlog or not. And part of our release process is tracking and reporting up on how well we're doing on how much of the given release. So our future, well, let's stay on the current release. Our Quebec release, part of the release process was for each product was showing how much of what you delivered in that release came from the idea portal. So it is absolutely a place that you should be using and interacting with, and voting for the things that you think are important. Don't just say everything's important. Vote for the things that you think are important, and encourage your friends and coworkers to do so as well. So it's supposed to be a collaborative space, and it is being utilized by the decision makers for each product to help prioritize.
Right. While we're answering more questions, I want to launch another poll, because more polls. As this is the first session that we're doing, we also want to get your opinions. Like Michael says, give us your opinion. Let us know which topics, platform topics you're most interested in, and we'll make sure to cover those topics in this academy going forward. So this is supposed to be an interactive thing. We want to know what you're interested in, which topics help you be more successful. This is a multiple choice, so you can multiple select. I'm learning the difference. I'm writing questions. I've been writing certification questions all week. I know all the differences between multiple choice and multiple select now. So give us your opinions. What do you want to know about? What are interesting topics, especially when it comes to best practices, guidance? How do you best employ those things in your daily work to be more successful? All right. So there's another question, knowledge management. All right, so I'm unfortunately, we cannot help you with incident management because we're taking care of the platform, and incident does belong to the ITSM suite. I'm not sure about knowledge. Do you know, Andrew?
Knowledge is owned by the ITSM group as well.
Okay, so we'll have
While
to
it's
make
available
sure.
for everything in the platform, they do own that feature.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would probably be covered by one of their academies or office hours topics too.
Yep.
Okay.
So while we could talk about it, it is really best to go visit with them and give them their feedback, because they're the ones who can most directly help you and improve the product in case it needs it.
Yeah. Right. I have about 20 minutes left. We need more questions. Let us know what you want to know.
Yeah, if you run out of questions, we've run out of time. Oh, Ashley's got a question. Look at
Right.
that.
Let's answer that in real time.
Will we see more Academy on universal request? It certainly could. That probably wasn't one of our options in the poll here.
Oh,
No,
I
it
could have
wasn't.
added that. Yes, I'll
But-
make a note.
But yes, it can be. Universal request is really cool.
Let me put that on my list. All right.
So what was your favorite nugget from Quebec? It could be a big thing, it could be a small thing. What was your favorite?
You can just put it in the chat, or me. Me or
Oh,
them.
I was talking to you, Lisa, but
Yes.
actually, yes, let's open it up there. If you have used Quebec, let's open it up for everybody.
Yes, let's open it up for everybody.
Yeah,
Me personally,
nice.
it
nice.
must be.
Poutine. That's great. That was
Yeah.
good. You got me there.
It is. For me, it's probably UI Builder, because UI Builder changes everything. It is the biggest thing, I think. It'll be so awesome. Of course, App Engine Studio in conjunction with UI Builder, but UI Builder building the foundation of the experiences we're going to see forward is just amazing. Right, I'm closing out the survey. And as it just says there, it's UI Builder is the favorite choice, and App Engine, of course,
I guess
application
we're gonna have to
development.
talk about that.
Oh, darn. I guess we'll
That's-
have to talk about UI Builder then.
That's hilarious. So looks like we've got a fair smattering of things that are the second tier. So automated test framework, application development between Dev Studio and App Engine Studio, CICD, instant scan, source control. Well, I apparently know what my future topics were going to be, because you and Daniel have got ATF covered, and so I would probably be doing some source control, CI/CD, and
Awesome.
instant scanning.
That is awesome. Those are some interesting
it.
ones too.
For me, I think my favorite thing in Quebec for developers was Script Tracer.
Oh, yes.
In general, though, I think like capability, I'm pretty excited about decision trees. Like that's why I've talked about it today. Like I've wanted to have that kind of capability in our platform, and I sort of made some passes at it myself previously.
That's
so
the guided decision thing, right?
Yeah,
it's not
the
to be
guided
confused
decisions.
with decision tables that can be used in Flow Designer, right?
Correct.
Sounds similar, is not quite the same.
And I get them jumbled up like word wise. I know which one I mean at any given time, but the names of them are tricky. They're so close. But yes, the guided decisions is the correct name, which I didn't say the first time here. And that is just so cool, because when you're trying to solve a problem that's a fairly routine problem, having that step-by-step interface to like walk me through what I need to get from the customer, and it's kind of like a playbook, but it's flexible playbook. Like it's a flexible playbook that helps me get the right information from the user and get them to the right place. And I really like that capability. I think it's very, very powerful.
All right. If there's no more big questions, I have a very last survey for you while we're closing this out. And this is mostly about how did you like this session? So feel free to stomp us now. If you have any final questions before we wrap this up, please let us know. Raise your hands, put it in the Q&A or in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer that.
And bring questions for 2 weeks from now. By all means, like if you have a best practice question for a platform, or we're going to be talking about ATF, so certainly bring your ATF questions. And it can even be how to best, not just what are the capabilities of ATF, but when to use it, how to use it, how to convince your team members how to that they want to use it. Bring questions like that, so we can talk through not just the technical bits, but the softer bits as well.
Be sure to also check out the community post. We're going to create specific events on the community for each of the future sessions. The webinar registration link is the same as for this one, so make sure to sign up for the future sessions. And you can also leave comments. This recording will be posted on YouTube as well in the coming days. We have our own playlist that I've started on the Now community channel. So make sure to follow that one if you cannot watch live. You're always welcome to go ahead and watch the recordings after. And please also leave us questions either on the community or in the YouTube video. Check out our initial session that we did last week. We had the privilege of speaking in one of our colleagues' teams' office hours. They are usually focusing on ITBM, and they asked us to join them to speak about ATF and how to leverage it for upgrades and for ServiceNow use cases and some best practices. So that was our initial session last week. You can also watch that on YouTube now and post your more ATF questions there. We'll catch up on them in the next 2 sessions on this academy as well. And then finally, one more thing that I wanted to tell you already. We are also looking at starting a similar academy sometime in the fall, which will focus on all things workflow and integrations. So that'll be Flow Designer, Integration Hub, Process Automation Designer, and these kinds of shiny things like specific spokes, or maybe also topics like instance data replication, all kinds of workflowy or integration-y things. So if you're interested in that, be sure to follow us on the community so you will be notified when that starts. And if there are no more questions, I can see everybody polled their answers. I am super happy about this. I hope to see you at the next time, which is in 2 weeks' time, same time. In 2 weeks, Thursday, same time slot.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Andrew.